My name is LaShonda Craddock, and this experience is all about recycling. Reduce Reuse Recycling was one of the biggest units in preschool. And so by the time we talked about all of the basic ways going to the recycling plant and they saw that process, we wanted to create an experience that would allow them to understand the practical ways of recycling. So once they understand, recycling process, taking something and making it into something else or crushing it through the plant, we introduced them to the Junk Museum. And so at the Junk Museum, we recycle things not to turn them into something else to put back on the shelf, but we put them on display for art. And so the Junk Museum has a catchy song that all the children love to sing. It goes like this. You say junk and we say art. Put it all together or take it all apart. At the Junk Museum, that's how we do. We recycle and we reuse at the Junk Museum. Hey, the Junk Museum. Hey, at the Junk Museum. Hey, at the Junk Museum. Hey. So we get the children all excited, and then we pass out anything around the house that could be used. The children in one particular school had all of my old earrings, bracelet. The teacher had brought in scraps of just material, buttons, just any interesting thing that we can find. The children were responsible with putting an art piece together, and whatever the art was, they determined it with their creativity. Then they had to give it a title. And then at the end, we walked down the line of our Junk Museum and we sang our song. You say junk and I say art. Put it all together or take it all apart. At the Junk Museum, that's how we do. We recycle and we reuse at the Junk Museum. Hey, the Junk Museum. Hey, at the Junk Museum. Hey, at the Junk Museum. Hey. And so that's the creative side of recycling. And I'm going to show a couple of examples from the Junk Museum. So we have a sword. This is high tech, made out of old flooring. So someone volunteered and cut it for the child, and they were able to make a sword out of some old flooring. Then one of my personal favorites. This is my protector robot, made from broken pencils and styrofoam that came in the package. And another one that I love was the Poopatron 9000. And so that gets them into the understanding of, if we want to do a play with being creative, we can make our costumes, we can make instruments, we can do all of these things because the Junk Museum, our creativity, we don't see things as junk. This is artwork and we're going to make it work. And once we take the creative side, get them into the creative side of recycling, we can easily move into more practical everyday side. So some projects is an old coconut shell that I put flowers in, my coconut flower holder, or to just use them as little bowls and little cups. And then this came from an instrument, a gourd. And so we took that and we put a piece of cloth over it and it became a strainer. And so the whole unit of recycling is not just what happens at the plant, but what happens in our own home, whether we're being creative for a particular purpose or we're recycling for practical reasons. This is a great way to get young people invested, interested, and taking part in the recycling process. Thank you.